Welcome back, and we are to continue with shedding more light on the visit by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to France, which kicked off yesterday and going to continue for 3 days, where he is going to have some talks with his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron, in addition to a number of other meetings which are going to cover ministers, parliamentary members and speaker, also businessmen. A lot of presidential activities and meetings are going to take place in this crucial visit. And to continue with this, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone Dr. Amr Saleh, Professor of Political Economy. And we are very much delighted to have you, sir. I don't know if you hear me or no. A very good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Mona. I hear you very well. Thank you.
Great. Sir, as I said, we are speaking about this visit by the head of state to France and to the summit talks which are going to be held in less than 2 hours from now between him and his French counterpart. Before going into more details, this is a visit which aims to boost a strategic partnership between Egypt and France in all domains. How do you see the developments which took place in the past few years in these relations between Egypt and France in all domains, whether it's economic, investment, trade, military, even social and culture, covering all these areas?
Yeah, very good. You know that this visit, I think it doesn't come only in return to the visit that was done by the French President François Macron to Cairo in 2019, and it doesn't also come in return to the bilateral visits or calls or communication that didn't stop between the two leaders. But I think this is a strategic visit that aimed to build, in my opinion, to build security, strategic, economic, social, and developing model and framework for cooperation in the east of the Mediterranean. We know that our relation with France is strategic. It's a very old relation. And when you take a look at the agenda of the President Fattah al-Sisi in Paris, you're going to see and you're going to remark that this is a lobbying visit. This is an awareness visit. This is a strategic visit. And as we said, the Mediterranean is going through a very critical period of time where we have crises in Syria, Libya, Tunisia, the Muslim Brotherhood in Tunisia, the threat of Iran for the Gulf region. So when you take a look at the number of officials that the President Fattah al-Sisi is going to meet, you're gonna see that this is a strategic visit and this is a lobbying visit. President Fattah al-Sisi is going to meet with the Prime Minister, with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, with the high official in France, the head of the Parliament, the Senate, with lots of senators. The main purpose, as you have said, is to present the Egyptian point of view regarding peace, development, cooperation, not only between Egypt and France, but in the Middle East, knowing that for years we're trying to establish peace in the Middle East, and recently we're trying to decrease tensions that were raised by Turkey in the Middle East, especially between the Turkish side and the Greek side, and the tension that the Turkey raised because of its involvement in Libya.
Yeah.
So as we said, this is going to be an important visit. This is a very important visit. This is a very important meeting that are going to be held, and we know that for long years the policy of France, what we call the Arab policy of France, has been very delicate and very important. France have got very sustainable and substantial relation with all the parties in the Middle East. And we do remember what is called la politique française au Proche-Orient, the foreign French policy in the Middle East since President Charles de Gaulle. Pompidou, President Mitterrand, Jacques Chirac, Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, all those presidents have been very loyal to the Middle East process and to keeping Middle East in the region.
Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, by the way, he passed away just 2 days ago. Our condolences to the French people. Well, sir, just before going to France, Bloomberg, for example, was among the most important international economic organizations or institute to release a report praising the Egyptian economy and how the Egyptian economy was able to face the repercussions of COVID-19. Before Bloomberg, the World Bank, the IMF, and since you were a former consultant in the World Bank, how do you see those reports which were released as something to add to the value of the Egyptian economy and to be a boost or to be another factor, a positive factor to build on in our economic ties or economic cooperation with France as one of the most important topics which is going to be discussed between the two presidents, how to boost or how to enhance economic cooperation in all fields?
Very good. This is a very important question. You know, we've been going through a very important, very critical economic reform process since 2016, the World Bank and the IMF, and lots of the institutions were not really sure that Egypt is going to be able to go through this program or going even through an economic reform program. We went from a national growth of the GDP, a decrease of the GDP from 1.6%, 8%, 1.67, 8% to recently 6.5% in 2019 before the COVID-19.
Yes.
So the IMF and the World Bank and even Bloomberg and all the financial institutions such as Fitch, Standard & Poor's, and all these financial institutions praised the Egyptian economy, and even the IMF and the World Bank said that this is a success story and that we need to learn how a country like Egypt that we're facing economic and political turbulences have been able to go through this. Coming back to your question and how this is going to impact the visit of the President Fattah al-Sisi, this is another positive reclamations from the financial institutions. And coming to the economic side of the visit of President Fattah al-Sisi to Paris, you know, we have around 160, 170 French companies that are operating in Egypt, and they're employing about 39,000 people. French companies have been operating in Egypt a long time ago, and they have witnessed, and they were partners in one of the most infrastructure projects in Egypt. And I mean the telecom, the first telecom infrastructure in Egypt, and even the metro. The Egyptian, exactly, the underground metro. We do remember that. So the companies, the French companies, are really an excellent and old and traditional partner of Egypt. You know that the bilateral exchange now between Egypt and France went to $3.4 billion in 2014. It reached one of the highest records in 2017, a record of $5 billion. And the FDI, the French, and this is very important, by the way, the French FDIs to Egypt were very important during the last years. We have an FDI, French, I'm talking about the French FDI, not about the bilateral trade, but I'm talking about the French FDIs. We had a foreign direct investment from France evaluated at $347 million in 2014 that reached $532 34 billion of dollars.
And Dr. Saleh, if we also should mention a most important field, which is the military cooperation, because I don't think it was a coincidence that just a few days ago there was joint military drills between Egypt and Cyprus and Greece, but Medusa 10, but with the participation of the French naval and air forces. And of course, this is not the first kind of joint drills between the Egyptian armed forces and the armed forces. Sir, are you with me? Sir, can you hear me? Hello? I'm sorry, it seems that we lost connection with Professor Dr. Amr Saleh. Professor Dr. Amr Saleh, Professor of Political Economy and former advisor in the World Bank. We were very much delighted to have him, and we were shedding light on the visit by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to France, which started yesterday, and to take 3 days with many presidential activities which are going to take place. Yesterday, it was a banquet by Jean-Yves Le Drian, the French top diplomat, to the president, and a lot of issues were discussed. Today, it's going to be the summit talks between President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron, and a series of other meetings with high-ranking officials, and we are going to follow minute by minute all the presidential activities which are going to take place, whether today or tomorrow, inshallah. Well, by this, we come to the end of this episode of our breakfast show. You were in the company of my dear colleague Amal Mukhtar and myself, Namin Abdurrahman. Many thanks for watching. Tomorrow is another day with another crew. It's goodbye for now.